Labor Day weekend, this 230-acre facility known as Indianapolis Raceway Park is the home of an event as important and in some respects larger than the Indy 500, the Nationals Championship Drag Races. From 42 states in Canada, they trek to the Nationals as they have for 15 years. 1,400 contestants and 100,000 fans will for 5 days be a part of the largest automotive competition event in the world. There are drag races every weekend from coast to coast, but this is the Nationals. For the devout, it's the World Series, Super Bowl, Olympics, and Kentucky Derby all rolled into one. Long lines start forming early in the week, and inspection continues until class runoffs. No Nationals entrant escapes a thorough pre-race technical inspection. There's 102 official classes of competition. The rules are explicit and enforced to the letter. With this volume, there is bound to be rejections and panic situations. What to do when you're 1,000 miles from home and the tech boss says changes must be made? Or the trailer that took such a beating getting you to Indy is going to need healing if it's to get you home. That's when the Hurst Safety Center looks as good as an oasis in the desert. Of the many contributions Hurst Performance is making to drag racing, the Hurst Safety Center at major NHRA events is probably the most appreciated by competitors. Staffed by over 30 Hurst-trained experts, this Hurst Aid Center can fill most any prescription. Cutting, welding, grinding, drilling, supplying a hard-to-find bolt or clamp, figuring out how to add a little weight to make just the right class. The famous Shifty Doctor is on hand to ensure that Hurst shifters, Hurst Earhart disc brakes, and Schaefer clutches all perform the way they were engineered to perform, flawlessly. After inspection and classification is completed, it's straight to the working pits where crews quickly begin the critical business of pre-race preparation and tuning. Much of this work won't make the machine run one bit faster, but will hopefully increase reliability. There's no second chances in this sport. Just about any mechanical failure on the track means sure defeat. After an initial time trial run, most racers start making many changes in an effort to whittle down that elapsed time. Different gear ratios, ignition timing, carburetor jetting, tire pressure, and a bag full of other tricks. Of the 1,400 cars entered, only about 180 will qualify for final eliminations. At this point, everyone's mind is on winning that class or grabbing a low elapsed time to earn a guaranteed spot in the Labor Day Tournament of Champions. As qualifying begins, the national scene is suddenly transformed into an almost psychedelic kaleidoscope of action.
Single important element in making a run drag racing would be the way the driver reacts to the Christmas tree.
I feel the most important thing is got to get the right light and do your best.
Whoever calls the light the best and all, and if you're within, tolerances, you'll win.
Move first and still have a green light.
Most important element in racing would be
your alertness.
Be able to run 1/10 of a second under the record. That'd be the fastest you could run without running out of the bracket.
The Christmas tree is the unbiased starting line judge. A countdown of second intervals gives drivers fair warning of the impending green. A too soon lead draws a red light and disqualification during eliminations. On the surface, driving a drag racing machine might seem as simple as a highway cruise. Not so. Staging and starting properly takes skill and uncanny reflexes. Throttle and clutch must be coordinated perfectly. Too much throttle and the tires spin freely in a smoky display of wasted horsepower. Too little horsepower and the engine bogs or sends its mount up into a nerve-shattering wheel stand, which could mean a stretch in Hearst aid for chassis repair. A combination of phenomenal traction, perfect atmospheric conditions, and the nation's hottest cars and drivers produced 4 days of qualifying such as the sport has never seen before. As elapsed times dropped lower than the wildest predictions, more nitro was the battle cry, and huge doses of the potent nitromethane fuel got the job done. But not without heart-stopping engine explosions. Flaming supercharger explosions filled the air with debris on several occasions during the heat of qualifying. Lucky was the driver who wasn't momentarily blinded by hot oil as pistons literally disintegrated. An alert starting line crew often spotted trouble before it happened. Control was difficult even for the most experienced driver. At the close of qualifying, the quickest field in history was assembled. 32 cars qualified between 6.43 and 6.73 seconds. The pit area was strewn with broken motors. The backbone of the sport and the Nationals is the stocker. Even in the most flawlessly prepared car, it still takes a driver to cut the light and shift his way into the Nationals winner's circle. Many look like daily transportation cars. Plenty of hours and dollars have been devoted to their preparation. Of the hundreds entered, only class winners get a berth in the elimination finals. Race day, the sun barely up over the Indiana landscape, thousands of fans crowded into Raceway Park for the finals of the 15th Annual Nationals. Like the contestants, they've come from all over the country. Early arrivals strolled through the pits for $1 million car show. Better hurry, lady. It's standing room only. Drivers and crews joke about the trade paper forecast, but the tension is quite evident. The pre-race parade shows off the top fuel qualifiers and some pretty girls. A publisher from Ohio. Horse breeders from Virginia. Miss Hearst Golden Shifter. The Nationals Queen. And even a king, Big Daddy Don Garlits himself. 7 national champions will be crowned this day. Outstanding race highlights leading to the finals demonstrate the type of action the fans have come to see. And Funny Car Eliminator had them up and cheering their favorites. That's Speed King Mickey Thompson pouring the traction-improving bleach down for driver Danny Ungaius. The Mach 1 stages against the Camaro of schoolteacher Kelly Chadwick from Texas. An anxious moment for trackside photographers as Chadwick narrowly misses the rail before shutting off. Angaya splashes through in 7.38 seconds. Chevy fans are backing Bruce Larson of Pennsylvania. He's drawn the quickest car of the meet, Don Schumacher's Barracuda from Illinois. Schumacher's engine expires while Larson charges to a great 735, 192-mile-per-hour wind, and the crowd loves it. Connie Kalita's Bounty Hunter Mustang now tangles with Californian Rich Sarunian, wheeling Big John Masmanian's Candy Apple Barracuda. Ford Cammer versus Plymouth Hemi. A tremendous hole shot by Michigan's Kalita, but the Barracuda is charging on the other end, and it's Big John moving to the semifinals by a headlight, 753, 199. Top Fuel, round one, Don Garlits meets Benny Osborne. The defending national champ from Florida accidentally shuts off his motor while moving to the starting line, leaving Osborne a solo blast. Bob Grease appears to have Larry Dixon covered at mid-course until a booming blower explosion cancels Reese's chances and almost sends him out of control. Dixon wins at 673. Out of the burnout box in round three comes East Coast champ Tom Rayleigh to meet Steve Carboni. Car owner Allison Lee removes Rayleigh's fuel-covered top goggles. Both staged carefully for a critical race. Carboni was runner-up at last year's event. This is the strongest national showing ever for the Lees and Rayleigh. Carboni blows his engine at the finish. Rayleigh wins 651 to 654. Rayleigh returns to meet Don Prudhomme in the semifinals. Rayleigh's mouth sounds stout. Ominous smoke emits from the California Pro's Hemi. Rayleigh loses traction. It's all Prudhomme. Scattering an engine in the lights under the strain of a 651 ET, 223 miles per hour. Can Prudhomme repair in time? Either this man, Californian Kelly Brown, or Jim Paoli of Illinois will face Prudhomme in the finals. Brown stages Leland Kolb's immaculate fueler. Paoli loses on a red light, but stays on it until an exploding floater plate almost cuts the car in half. Emergency crews are on the scene before Paoli even stops rolling. Of all the dangers inherent to top fuel racing, driveline explosions are the most feared by drivers. He's okay. Action now swings to the hottest of Detroit's high-performance cars. Class champions battling under the handicap system for the Superstock Eliminator title. The latest supercars from Ford, Chevrolet, Chrysler, and American Motors. Plymouth Pro Ronnie Sox must overtake Dale Hooper's Mustang from Illinois. It's the Hemi Barracuda at 10:43, 122.61. Dodge mainstay Dick Landy moves to the line to face the East Coast Ford challenge of Charlie Johnson. Johnson leaves first. Landy sets sail and passes for the win light. The winningest Superstock driver of the year, North Carolina's Ronnie Sox, prepares to meet his second Superstock challenger. Sox and partner Buddy Martin make up one of the sport's most professional teams. Jerry Harvey of Indianapolis, himself a former NHRA champion, is one of the few Fords left that has the potential to stop Chrysler Corporation's blitz. Both these clean-cut, articulate gentlemen are typical of drag racing's new breed. Ronnie Sox from behind at 10:55, 120 miles per hour. Plymouth's newest full-time pro, Don Grother of Oklahoma City, pits his automatic Hemi Barracuda against Southern Californian Wiley Cossey. Over-anxious, Cossey grabs a red light, Grother an automatic winner. Sox is back in the semifinals to face the Midwest's toughest, Ron Mancini's Dodge. Ronnie has to go all out and wins at 1040, 132 miles per hour. Funny Cars semifinals. Rich Cerronian dons his breather mask to face the Nationals' fastest funny car from Louisiana, Candies and Hughes, with Leonard Hughes in the cockpit. Both drivers are ready, and the crowd knows this will be a classic. Cerronian by inches at 725, 207 to Hughes 728, 200.44. Chevy fans hope Bruce Larson is up to the challenge issued by Danny Ungaius in the Mach 1. Ungaius screams out of the bleach. Larson has red-lighted, but still both cars scream the full quarter mile. Danny into the finals against Big John with a 727, 203.61. Nationals action moves to the spectacular Super Eliminator category. California's legendary Pure Hell AA fuel altered moves up under the capable control of Rich Guasco. 1,500 horsepower of fuel dragster engine in a short wheelbase roadster. A real challenge for the best handler. Leaving first on the handicap start will be the gas-burning roadster of Ron Ellis from Michigan. Let's ride with Pure Hell. Can't match Ellis's 8.36 ET. Hall stage, defending champ meets Ohio George Montgomery's blown Mustang. Montgomery moves to the finals on stage's red light. The winner in this one faces Montgomery in the finals. Ron Ellis's 844 stays ahead of John Hansen's dragster from Milwaukee. Street Eliminator highlights. Dick Landy's modified production Dodge has drawn Carl Houchin Chevy from Kentucky. Landy catches up and wins at 1082, 127 miles per hour. Californian Landy came right back to meet Carroll Cottle's 55 Chevy C-modified production from Texas. Landy encounters difficulties, and the talented Texan wins at 11:52, 115 miles per hour. The finals begin. Super Eliminator. Ohio George Montgomery's Mustang against Ron Ellis's record-holding Trick T from Michigan. Overhead Cam Ford versus blown Hemi Chrysler. An 8:59, 164 mile per hour win. Ohio George, the national champion. Superstock finals. Can Dave Wren of Missoula, Montana, stop Ron Sox from winning his second consecutive NHRA title? Sox blast straight and true, while back at the start, Dave Wren turns off, dangling a broken drive shaft. Sox and Martin now own every major title except the World Finals, and that may be theirs before the year is out. Street Eliminator. Carol Cottle's high-revving 55 Chevy stages opposite Glenn Self's six-cylinder from Durant, Oklahoma. David holds off Goliath as Glenn Self earns the Nationals in 12.35 seconds. Tom Neha's Chevrolet wagon from California meets Bill Morgan of New Jersey. $6,000 at stake in the stock finals. Notice something peculiar at the finish? Let's look and stop action. As they near the finish, Neha appeared to be the winner until he jammed on the brakes inches before the finish line, giving the win to Morgan. Why? Only Tom Neha can answer that one. Big John's Barracuda against Mickey Thompson's Mustang in the Funny Car Finals. The Barracuda cuts the light too thin, giving Danny Unguyest his biggest win. Suiting up in the staging lanes are the two finalists for Top Gas Eliminator, D.A. Santuzzi of Pennsylvania and Phil Hobbs of Kokomo, Indiana. In a stranger-than-fiction story, Santucci almost perished on a qualifying run when acceleration forces lodged his chewing gum in his windpipe. Though unable to breathe, he set low ET on gas and was taken to the hospital unconscious with what attendants thought was a heart attack. Now, one day later, here he is in the finals. Hobbs red lights. Santuzzi knows he's the champ and flashes the victory sign. What a story. A 1-hour rain squall has given Don Perdome ample time to install a new engine for the Top Fuel Finals. Kelly Brown hopes to change his bridesmaid status right here and now. Both are from California and both utilize late-model Hemi engines from the Chrysler Corporation. A 50-mile-per-hour push start brings the monsters to life. In 6.51 seconds, Don Perdome becomes the second driver in 15 years to ever win the Nationals twice.